You had a bullet here, change the culture in the school buildings, which is built on a punitive model, not a collaborative, respectful model. Is that the principle or is that the system?
I think there's a lot of pressure put on principals to get outcomes, particularly in testing. The only time I would see my administrators 7 years ago when it was time for me to be evaluated. That's a fact. I know that when I started 30 years ago, teaching 25 years ago, even 20 years ago, I would see my administrators all the time, just checking in on me. I kept saying, I thought you were coming to my classroom. I thought you were coming to my classroom to evaluate me. He said, I'm going to get there, but I already know what you do. I come by your classroom 3 and 4 times a day. So we don't see that. He would come to the classroom not just to evaluate me, just to check in to see how I was doing, especially if he knew as a kindergarten teacher my aide was out sick. Do I need to get you something to drink? Who's coming in to support you? It was an interaction so that by the time he came into my classroom to evaluate, he already knew what I was doing. That's gone away, and that's because there's so much pressure put on administrators and there's so much pressure put on teachers.
To what extent is there any initiative to have some sort of collaboration to think about how we might change that evaluation system?
When we found out about American University and their research, the fact that it is biased and racist, particularly against brown and black teachers, particularly those who work in underserved communities, we were coming together with DCPS, which what we thought was to make some meaningful changes and tweaks to impact. But it was all superficial and on the surface. By the time it took us a long time to actually get the research from DCPS. And then actually when we sat down, they had already decided what decisions they were going to make to tweak and change impact, which we felt it wasn't going to change anything. And I'm saying this particularly because I'm a woman and I'm black. It affects me. And at the time where I was having the most struggles with impact after being a veteran teacher was when I was teaching in an underserved community.